When we talk about progress, about moving forward in life, we must talk about risk. You see, risk is a fundamental part of the human experience. It is the currency that buys you access to greatness. The world has taught us to avoid danger, to stay safe, to protect what we have. But here's the truth: nothing great was ever achieved from the comfort zone. Nothing transformative was ever birthed without someone, somewhere embracing risk. Risk as a pathway to growth is a concept that stretches beyond the simple idea of stepping into the unknown. It's about understanding that growth and transformation are inextricably tied to the willingness to venture into uncharted territory. When you embrace risk, you open yourself to possibilities that would never be accessible from a place of safety. The status quo can provide comfort, but it does not nurture progress. Growth demands discomfort. It demands the courage to leave behind what is familiar and venture into new realms where the outcome is uncertain, but the potential is boundless. The world often teaches us to avoid risk, to stay within the lines, to adhere to established norms. But the truth is, every significant breakthrough in history, every major advancement in science, art, and even personal development was born from someone's decision to embrace risk. Risk isn't just about the possibility of loss, it's about the possibility of gain, the possibility of uncovering new truths and abilities. It's about pushing past limitations, both internal and external, and expanding the scope of what you believe is possible for yourself. The act of taking a risk is a form of investment in your future. When you stay in a place of comfort, you are essentially betting against your growth. You are telling yourself that where you are is good enough, that the life you have built so far is all there is for you. But risk shakes that belief to its core. Risk says there is more. There is more to achieve, more to experience, more to become. Growth happens when you challenge your existing boundaries, and risk is the catalyst that forces you to stretch beyond them. Growth does not happen in the realm of certainty. When everything is predictable, when you know exactly what to expect, there is no space for innovation or transformation. Risk introduces variables that you can't control, but it also introduces opportunities that you never imagined. The very nature of risk is that it opens doors you didn't even know were there. It forces you to think differently, to act differently, and in doing so, it transforms you into a more capable, more resilient version of yourself. Consider the nature of a seed. For it to grow, it must be planted in the ground, where it is buried, hidden from sight, and exposed to the elements. In that dark, uncertain environment, the seed begins to break open and grow. The seed's potential is only realized through a process of transformation, and that process requires risk. The risk of being buried, the risk of not knowing what will happen next. In the same way, human growth requires that we plant ourselves in situations where we are not certain of the outcome, but we trust in the process of development. Risk is the environment in which growth flourishes. It is not always easy, nor is it always comfortable, but it is necessary. When you face a challenge that demands you take a risk, you are confronted with a decision to remain as you are or to become something more. Every time you choose to take that step into the unknown, you expand your capacity for growth. You learn new skills, develop new perspectives, and build a stronger, more resilient character. Growth through risk is also about learning from failure. Failure is often seen as something to be avoided, but in reality, it is one of the most powerful tools for personal development. When you take a risk and things don't go as planned, you are forced to reflect, to adapt, and to try again. This process of trial and error is where real learning happens. It's where you discover what works and what doesn't, what your true strengths are, and where you need to improve. Without risk, there is no failure, but without failure, there is no meaningful growth. Moreover, risk teaches you about the power of resilience. It's not just about whether or not you succeed in the moment, it's about the lessons you learn and the strength you gain through the experience. Each time you take a risk, you develop the ability to handle uncertainty, to navigate through challenges, and to keep moving forward even when things are tough. This resilience is a critical component of growth because it prepares you for future challenges, enabling you to tackle bigger and more significant risks with greater confidence. And risk also reveals hidden potential. Often we don't know what we are truly capable of until we are pushed to our limits. It's in those moments of uncertainty and challenge that we discover abilities, talents, and strengths that we didn't know we had. Risk forces you to tap into your deeper reserves of creativity, problem solving, and endurance. When you take a risk, you are not just testing the external circumstances, you are testing yourself. And in that test, you grow into a stronger, more capable individual. Furthermore, embracing risk fosters innovation and creativity. When you step into a risky situation, you are forced to think outside the box. The pressure of uncertainty demands that you come up with new solutions, that you innovate and adapt. This process of creative problem solving is itself a form of growth. It expands your mental horizons and equips you with the tools to navigate future risks more effectively. Without the willingness to embrace risk, innovation would stagnate and growth would be limited. One of the most powerful aspects of risk is that it forces you to confront your own limitations. When you take a risk, you are often faced with the realization that you don't have all the answers, that there are gaps in your knowledge or skill set. This can be uncomfortable, but it's also incredibly valuable. It pushes you to learn, to seek out new information, and to develop yourself in areas where you may have been lacking. In this way, risk acts as a mirror, reflecting back to you the areas where you need to grow and evolve. Risk connects you with your true potential. It's easy to underestimate what you are capable of when you never push yourself beyond your comfort zone. But when you take a risk, you tap into a deeper well of potential within yourself. You discover that you are stronger, smarter, and more capable than you previously thought. And once you have tapped into that potential, you are forever changed. Growth becomes a natural part of your journey because you have learned to trust in your ability to handle whatever challenges come your way. Fear as a catalyst for transformation is one of the most misunderstood forces in our lives. Many see fear as a sign to retreat, a signal that something dangerous or harmful is ahead. But fear is not the enemy, it's a powerful driver that, when embraced, can propel us into new heights of personal growth and self-discovery. The presence of fear often indicates that you are standing on the edge of something important. It's not there to stop you, but to push you beyond your current limits. It challenges your comfort zone, beckoning you to confront the unknown and step into the realm of possibility. The truth is, fear only shows up when something significant is at stake. It doesn't arise when you are doing the same old things, staying in the same old patterns. Fear comes when you're about to take a leap, to try something new, to become something more. In this way, fear is a signal that you are on the cusp of transformation. It's the body's way of preparing you for the unknown, for the changes that will occur as you evolve into a new version of yourself. Without fear, there would be no growth, no need to stretch beyond what is already known. One of the most remarkable aspects of fear is how it forces you to confront your limitations. When fear arises, it's because you are stepping into territory that feels unfamiliar or challenging. You may doubt your abilities, your worth, or your chances of success. But it is precisely in these moments of doubt that transformation begins. Fear exposes the areas where you need to grow, the insecurities and limitations that have been holding you back. It shines a light on the inner barriers that need to be dismantled for you to move forward. In this sense, fear is not a hindrance but a guide pointing you toward the areas of your life that are ripe for transformation. Fear also acts as a powerful motivator. When you are faced with a situation that triggers fear, you have two choices: to shrink back or to rise up. The decision to rise in the face of fear is what triggers transformation. It pushes you to dig deeper, to find courage, and to take action despite the uncertainty. Every time you do this, every time you choose to move forward despite your fear, you strengthen your resilience and fortitude. You prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought, and with each step you become more transformed, more confident, more empowered, more aligned with your true potential. Furthermore, fear has the ability to sharpen your focus. When you are afraid, your senses become heightened, your awareness sharpens, and you become more attuned to your surroundings. Fear can strip away the distractions and force you to concentrate on what truly matters. It's in these moments of heightened awareness that you can make decisions with clarity and precision. This intense focus allows you to navigate through challenges with a sense of purpose and determination. Fear, rather than clouding your judgment, can actually serve as a tool for refining your vision and strengthening your resolve. In many ways, fear is a gateway to courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act in spite of it. When you choose to face your fear, you develop a deeper understanding of your own strength. You realize that fear is not something to be eradicated, but something to be embraced as part of the journey. Each time you confront a fear, you build your capacity for courage. And with each act of courage, transformation becomes inevitable. You grow stronger, more resilient, and more capable of facing the challenges that life presents. Fear also challenges your perception of what is possible. Often, fear stems from the belief that you are not enough, that you lack the resources, skills, or strength to handle a situation. But when you step into fear and take action, you quickly discover that these limitations exist only in your mind. The more you confront fear, the more you realize that you are far more capable than you once believed. This shift in perception is transformative because it rewires your thinking. Instead of seeing fear as a barrier, you begin to view it as an invitation to discover new depths of your potential. In addition, fear teaches you the value of vulnerability. To embrace fear is to admit that you don't have all the answers, that you are stepping into the unknown without certainty of the outcome. This requires a level of openness and humility that is essential for growth. Vulnerability, far from being a weakness, is a strength that allows for deeper learning and connection. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable in the face of fear, you open yourself up to new experiences, new insights, and new ways of being. This vulnerability is what allows for true transformation to occur because it creates space for learning and growth. Moreover, fear breaks the chains of complacency. Without fear, it's easy to fall into routines, to stick with what is comfortable and familiar. Fear disrupts this sense of complacency by introducing uncertainty. But it forces you to question whether the path you're on is truly serving you or if it's time for a change. Fear shakes things up, compelling you to take a closer look at your life and make adjustments where necessary. In this way, fear serves as a catalyst for change, pushing you to evaluate where you are and where you want to go. It ignites the desire for something more, something better. Fear also has the power to deepen your relationship with yourself. When you face your fears, you are forced to confront parts of yourself that you may have been avoiding. Whether it's fear of failure, fear of rejection, or fear of the unknown, these fears reveal deeper insecurities and unresolved emotions. By facing these fears head-on, you begin to understand yourself on a deeper level. You gain insight into your own patterns, motivations, and desires. This self-awareness is transformative because it empowers you to make conscious choices about how you want to live and who you want to become. Additionally, fear can lead to moments of profound self-discovery. When you push through fear and take action, you often uncover strengths, talents, and abilities that you didn't know you possessed. Fear forces you to dig deep, to access parts of yourself that you may not have previously tapped into. In the process, you discover new aspects of your identity, new passions, and new possibilities. This process of self-discovery is one of the most powerful forms of transformation because it allows you to expand your sense of self and redefine what you are capable of achieving. Fear is a force that can either paralyze you or propel you forward. When you allow fear to paralyze you, you remain stuck in the same patterns, the same limiting beliefs, the same unfulfilled potential. But when you embrace fear as a catalyst for transformation, you open the door to endless possibilities. You allow yourself to grow, to evolve, and to become the person you were meant to be. Fear, in its truest form, is not an obstacle, it is an opportunity. It is the fire that forges strength, the storm that clears the path for new beginnings, and the spark that ignites transformation in your life. Faith over comfort is a principle that calls us to step out of the familiar and into the unknown. It's easy to stay within the bounds of what feels safe, what we know, and what has been tried and tested. Comfort, by its very nature, lulls us into a sense of security, providing a space where we feel in control and unchallenged. However, growth does not come from staying in comfort. True transformation requires faith, the unwavering belief that, despite the uncertainty ahead, something greater is waiting on the other side of discomfort. Faith is the force that moves you when logic tells you to remain where you are. Comfort is often mistaken for stability, but in reality, it can become a prison of stagnation. When we prioritize comfort, we settle for the familiar and refuse to explore the potential within us. We avoid risks, fearing failure, and in doing so, we also avoid the chance to discover what we are truly capable of. Faith, on the other hand, calls us to trust in something beyond what is seen. It asks us to believe that even though the path may be uncertain, it is leading us to a destination far greater than what comfort can offer. Faith over comfort is about embracing the unknown with confidence that the outcome, while unclear, will lead to growth. Living a life driven by comfort limits the experiences we have and the lessons we learn. It keeps us from the unknown, where true adventure and discovery reside. When you live in faith, you allow yourself to venture into unfamiliar territory, knowing that it is in the unknown that new opportunities are found. Faith opens doors that comfort would keep closed. It is in the act of stepping out of your comfort zone into situations that require faith, where you grow into the person you are destined to become. The willingness to face uncertainty with faith as your guide is what creates a life of purpose and fulfillment. Faith does not promise that the journey will be easy, but it promises that it will be worthwhile. It is through faith that we develop resilience and endurance. Comfort may keep you safe in the short term, but it does not build the strength needed to overcome life's greatest challenges. Faith, on the other hand, teaches you to persevere in the face of adversity. When you choose faith over comfort, you learn to rely on inner strength rather than external circumstances. You begin to understand that the obstacles you face are not there to stop you, but to refine you, to make you stronger, and to push you closer to your purpose. Choosing faith over comfort requires a shift in mindset. It's about realizing that the pursuit of comfort can keep you small, confined to the same routines and limitations that have always been there. Faith, however, expands your vision. It forces you to look beyond the immediate and to see the bigger picture. When you have faith, you are no longer constrained by fear of the unknown, because you trust that the unknown holds greater potential than what you can currently see. This shift in perspective is powerful because it transforms the way you approach challenges. Instead of avoiding discomfort, you begin to welcome it as a sign that you are on the verge of growth. Another important aspect of faith over comfort is the willingness to let go of control. Comfort often stems from a desire to maintain control over our lives and circumstances. We want things to stay predictable, manageable, and within our grasp. But faith requires surrender. It asks us to release the need for control and to trust that even when things don't go according to our plan, they are still unfolding as they should. Letting go of control can be uncomfortable, but it is in this act of surrender that true freedom is found. Faith allows you to move forward with confidence, knowing that you don't have to have all the answers, but you are being guided. Faith over comfort also teaches us patience. Comfort offers immediate gratification, a sense of security that everything is fine in the moment. But faith requires waiting, sometimes for long periods, without knowing exactly when or how the outcome will materialize. This waiting period is often where the most growth happens. It is in the waiting that we learn to trust the process, to develop patience, and to strengthen our belief in the unseen. Faith teaches us that good things take time and that the most meaningful transformations are not instantaneous but unfold gradually as we continue to step forward, even in uncertainty. Comfort may offer temporary satisfaction, but it does not provide lasting fulfillment. Faith, however, leads to a deeper sense of purpose and meaning. When you live by faith, you are constantly moving toward a greater vision for your life. You are not content with just getting by or staying where you are. Faith ignites a fire within you, a desire to pursue something bigger, something that aligns with your higher calling. It's this pursuit that brings true fulfillment, because you know that you are not living merely for comfort, but for something far greater than yourself. Faith over comfort is also about embracing risk. Comfort keeps you playing small, avoiding risks because of the fear of failure. But faith encourages you to take risks, knowing that failure is not the end, but part of the process of growth. Every great achievement in life has come from someone willing to risk the comfort of the known for the potential of the unknown. Faith gives you the courage to step into opportunities that seem uncertain, trusting that even if you fail, you will learn, grow, and eventually succeed. It's this willingness to take risks that separates those who live extraordinary lives from those who remain stuck in mediocrity. One of the greatest lessons of faith over comfort is that it teaches you to rely on something greater than yourself. Comfort often keeps us self-centered, focused on our own needs and desires. But faith stretches you beyond yourself. It connects you to a higher purpose, to something greater than your individual experience. When you live by faith, you are no longer driven solely by personal comfort or gain. You are motivated by a desire to contribute, to make an impact, and to fulfill the purpose you were created for. This shift from self to service is one of the most profound transformations that faith brings. In the pursuit of faith over comfort, we also develop a deeper trust in life's process. Comfort often arises from a need for certainty, but life is anything but certain. Faith teaches us to trust in the unfolding of life, even when we can't see the full picture. It asks us to believe that, despite the setbacks or challenges we face, everything is working together for our good. This trust allows us to navigate through life with a sense of peace and confidence, knowing that we are always moving in the right direction, even when the path seems unclear. Faith over comfort gives us the strength to keep going, even when the way forward is uncertain. Choosing faith over comfort transforms the way you live. It shifts your focus from short-term satisfaction to long-term growth. It encourages you to take bold steps, to embrace uncertainty, and to trust in the process of life. While comfort may seem appealing in the moment, it pales in comparison to the depth and fulfillment that comes from living a life driven by faith. The reward is in the risk, a truth that often gets overlooked in a world that prioritizes safety and certainty. We are taught to avoid risks, to play it safe, to choose paths that have been traveled by many before us. Yet those who achieve greatness, those who rise above the ordinary, understand that the real rewards lie in stepping out into the unknown. Risk is the catalyst for transformation, for it is only when we move beyond our comfort zones that we tap into the potential within us. The rewards that come from taking risks are not only material or financial, but they are deeply rooted in personal growth, self-discovery, and inner fulfillment. Risk, by its very nature, forces us to confront our fears. It makes us face uncertainty, and that can be unsettling. But when you take a risk, you are not just confronting the possibility of failure, you are also opening yourself up to the possibility of success, of achieving something you never thought possible. The beauty of risk is that it is unpredictable. It can lead to unexpected breakthroughs, to doors opening that you never even knew existed. But none of this is possible if you remain where you are, confined by the limits of safety and familiarity. The reward is in the risk because it is the vehicle that transports you to new possibilities. The fear of taking risks is often rooted in a desire for control. We want to know the outcome before we take action. We want guarantees, assurances that everything will go as planned. But life does not work that way. Life is unpredictable, and the more we try to control it, the more we limit our ability to grow. Taking a risk means letting go of control, accepting that there will be uncertainties, but believing that the potential reward is worth the discomfort. In the act of taking a risk, we learn to trust ourselves, our abilities, and the process. It is in this space of uncertainty that we grow the most. When you embrace risk, you develop resilience. Every risk you take comes with the possibility of failure, but it is through failure that we learn the most valuable lessons. Each time you face a setback, you are given the opportunity to grow stronger, to learn, and to improve. The reward is not always in the success itself, but in the process of overcoming challenges. It is in the resilience you build, the confidence you gain, and the understanding that failure is not the end, but a stepping stone to success. Risk teaches you that setbacks are temporary, and that perseverance is the key to achieving long-term rewards. Taking risks requires courage, and it is through courage that we experience the most profound rewards. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to move forward in spite of it. When you take a risk, you are exercising your courage, and that courage builds over time. The more risks you take, the more courageous you become. This courage spills over into other areas of your life, empowering you to take even bolder actions. The reward is in the risk because it transforms you into a person who is not afraid to go after what they want, no matter the obstacles that stand in the way. One of the greatest rewards of taking risks is the sense of accomplishment that comes from doing something you once thought was impossible. When you look back on your life, it will not be the times you played it safe that stand out. It will be the moments when you took a chance, when you stepped out into the unknown and achieved something remarkable. The satisfaction that comes from overcoming fear and taking bold action is a reward that cannot be measured. It is a feeling of pride, of knowing that you have the courage to pursue your dreams, no matter how uncertain the path may be. Taking risks also opens you up to new opportunities. When you stay in your comfort zone, you limit your exposure to what is possible. But when you take a risk, you open the door to new experiences, new relationships, and new avenues for growth. Often, the greatest opportunities in life come when we least expect them, and they are almost always found on the other side of risk. The reward is in the risk because it allows you to expand your horizons, to explore possibilities that you never would have considered if you had stayed in the safety of the familiar. Risk is also a pathway to self-discovery. When you take risks, you learn more about yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, your desires, and your capabilities. Risk pushes you to test your limits, to see how far you can go, and in doing so, you uncover hidden talents and abilities that you may not have known you possessed. The reward is not just in the external achievements that come from taking risks, but in the internal growth that takes place. You begin to see yourself in a new light, to understand what you are truly capable of, and to develop a deeper sense of self-awareness. The reward is in the risk because it leads to greater confidence. Each time you take a risk and succeed, your confidence grows. You begin to trust yourself more, to believe in your ability to navigate uncertainty and to overcome challenges. This confidence is invaluable because it gives you the courage to take even bigger risks in the future. With each risk, you build momentum, and that momentum propels you forward toward even greater rewards. Confidence is not something that can be gained from staying in your comfort zone. It is built through the act of taking risks and proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. Another important reward of taking risks is the impact it has on others. When you take a risk and succeed, you inspire those around you. You show them what is possible when you have the courage to pursue your dreams. Your willingness to take risks sets an example for others, encouraging them to step out of their comfort zones and pursue their own goals. The reward is not just in the personal growth and achievements that come from taking risks, but in the ripple effect it creates, inspiring and empowering others to do the same. Taking risks also helps you overcome the fear of failure. The more risks you take, the less you fear failure, because you come to understand that failure is not something to be avoided, but something to be learned from. Each time you fail, you gain valuable insights that help you improve and grow. The reward is not just in the success that comes from taking risks, but in the freedom that comes from no longer being paralyzed by the fear of failure. When you embrace risk, you begin to see failure as a necessary part of the journey to success, and that shift in perspective is a powerful reward in itself. The reward is in the risk because it leads to a life of fulfillment. Playing it safe may keep you comfortable, but it will not lead to a life of purpose and meaning. It is through taking risks that you pursue your passions, achieve your goals, and live a life that is true to who you are. The reward is not just in the external achievements, but in the sense of fulfillment that comes from knowing that you had the courage to go after what you wanted, to embrace uncertainty, and to take the necessary risks to live a life of purpose and significance. In conclusion, embracing risk is not merely a step towards success, it is the very essence of growth, transformation, and fulfillment. By stepping into the unknown, we unlock potential within ourselves that we never knew existed. Risk becomes a pathway to greater self-awareness, resilience, courage, and confidence. It forces us to confront our fears, to break free from the limitations of comfort and control, and to step into opportunities we would otherwise miss. Every risk, whether it leads to success or failure, brings with it valuable lessons, new insights, and the chance to evolve. The real reward, however, is not just in the material gains or external achievements, but in the profound internal growth that happens when we choose to embrace risk, challenge our boundaries, and pursue a life of meaning and purpose. The reward indeed is in the risk,